All right, so welcome to another deep dive, everybody. Today, today we are diving into Enlightened Shadows by Richard Lionheart.
Intriguing title.
Yeah, and this book, it's a real page turner. You know, it
Okay.
throws us right into the world of Mike Dunleavy. He's an FBI agent.
FBI, okay.
Yeah, and he's dealing with a really complex investigation, and of course there are twists and turns, personal relationships, you know, the whole deal.
Sounds like a classic spy thriller setup.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more to it than that. You know, we've got double agents, international intrigue, and the plot. Oh man, the plot is going to keep you guessing right to the very end.
Well, spy novels often reflect those anxieties we have, especially when it comes to things like power, secrecy, betrayal, all those things that make us feel a little uneasy.
Exactly.
hmm
And as we go through this story, I really want you to think about how these themes, how they might connect with, you know, your own life, your own experiences, or maybe even, you know, just what you see happening in the world today.
Yeah, because those connections are always there, lurking beneath the surface.
Right. So the story begins in Miami in 2002, and that's where we meet our main man, Mike Dunleavy.
So we're in the Sunshine State, palm trees, beaches.
Oh, yeah. But things are about to get a whole lot darker. Now, Mike, he's a skilled FBI agent. There's no doubt about that. But his methods, especially when he's dealing with female suspects, well, let's just say they raise some ethical questions.
Oh, that's interesting. Right off the bat, we're thrown into this moral gray area. It makes you think, how far is too far when you're trying to bring someone to justice? And how much do our own biases, even the ones we don't realize we have, how much do those affect how an investigation actually plays out?
That's a really good point, because we all have biases, right? And sometimes those biases can cloud our judgment, even when we're trying to be objective.
Absolutely. And in a field like law enforcement, where the stakes are so high, those biases can have a ripple effect, They can impact lives in ways we might not even anticipate.
Okay, so getting back to Mike. He's assigned to this high-stakes case involving a woman named Natalie. And Natalie is suspected of, well, two pretty major things: assassination and linking classified information to the IRA.
Whoa, okay, so we're talking serious national security threats here.
Yeah, the implications are huge. If she gets away with this, it could have devastating consequences.
And this reminds me of real-world espionage cases, the kind of stuff that makes headlines, where one tiny piece of information can disrupt entire alliances, put lives in danger, compromise national security. It's scary stuff.
It really is. And it makes you realize just how fragile the balance of power can be.
Absolutely. So where do things go from here? How does Mike approach this case with so much on the line?
Well, Mike's pursuit of Natalie, it takes him to a place you might not expect. The extravagant Venice Hotel in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Wow, that's quite a shift from the seriousness of the situation.
Right. You've got this backdrop of, you know, casinos, bright lights, shows, all that glitz and glamour. And then you have this intense undercover operation going on behind the scenes. It's an interesting contrast for sure.
It really highlights that idea of appearances being deceiving, doesn't it? Like, beneath all that surface-level excitement and luxury, there are these hidden agendas, power plays, and maybe even danger lurking just around the corner.
It makes you think about what might be hidden beneath the surface in our own lives, you know, the things we don't see or maybe don't want to see.
Exactly, because there's always more to the story than meets the eye.
And just when we think we're starting to get a handle on things, Lionheart throws us a massive curveball. Mike dies.
Wait, he dies? Hold on, how does the story even continue if the main character is dead?
Well, it's a spy novel, right? Anything can happen. And in this case, Mike has a near-death experience. He's shot by Natalie while he's trying to apprehend her on a train. But this near-death experience, it's not your typical kind of thing. It's described as an encounter with a higher power.
Okay, now we're getting into some interesting territory. So he has this encounter, and then what? Does he come back to life?
He does, but not in the way you might expect. He's given a second chance, a chance to set things right and finish what he started, but he's also changed. This brush with death, it alters his perspective, his priorities. It's a turning point in the story for sure.
So he's back in action, but he's not the same Mike Dunleavy we met in the beginning.
Exactly. He returns to the investigation, but now he's operating outside the law. He's a ghost. unbound by the rules and regulations of the FBI.
That's a powerful image, a ghost operating in the shadows. It raises a lot of questions about justice, morality, and the lengths we're willing to go to for what we believe in.
And if things weren't complicated enough, we get another bombshell.
Yeah.
There's a mole within the FBI, someone leaking information and jeopardizing the entire operation.
Oh, wow, a mole. So now we have trust issues on top of everything else.
Yeah, and the worst part is, suspicion falls on Kent, Mike's longtime partner and friend.
Betrayal, that's a tough one to swallow, especially from someone you consider to be close. It makes you question everything, you know? Who can you really trust? How do you know who's truly on your side?
It's a theme that runs throughout the story, this idea of deception and hidden agendas. It makes you realize that even those we think we know best can have secrets.
And those secrets can have a ripple effect, impacting not just individuals, but entire organizations, even national security.
And just when we're trying to process this betrayal, we get hit with yet another twist. Natalie, it turns out, is Kent's daughter.
Hold on, Natalie is Kent's daughter. Wow, the plot thickens.
This revelation, it throws everything into a whole new light. Suddenly, the case becomes deeply personal for both Mike and Kent.
It's no longer just about catching a suspect. It's about family, loyalty, and the weight of past decisions.
It makes you wonder how anyone can remain objective when their own personal history is so intertwined with the case they're trying to solve.
Right. And how do you even begin to separate professional duty from personal feelings in a situation like that? It's a recipe for disaster, or at least a whole lot of internal conflict.
And just as we think we're starting to understand the players and their motivations, Lionheart drops another bombshell. Natalie's real name is Catalina Otalvaro, and she's the daughter of a powerful Colombian drug lord, Jose Otalvaro.
Whoa, okay, so we're not just dealing with a rogue agent and a possible mole. We've got international drug cartels involved now.
That's right. This story takes us from Miami to Las Vegas, and now we're diving headfirst into the world of organized crime.
The stakes just got a whole lot higher, and I have a feeling this is only the beginning.
You're telling me. We've got betrayal, family secrets, and now a connection to one of the most dangerous criminal enterprises in the world. And we're only just getting started.
Buckle up, because this ride is about to get a whole lot wilder.
Okay.
It's amazing how Mike's, well, his whole transformation, changes how he goes about the investigation. He's not stuck with all that FBI bureaucracy anymore, so it gives him some freedom, but it also puts him in a really risky spot.
It's true. Yeah, he's basically like a vigilante now, operating in this world where the lines between right and wrong, they get all blurred. He's driven by this sense of justice, but it's personal,
Mm-hmm.
And how long can that really last? How sustainable is that in the long run?
It's a good question, and it's something that's relevant in the real world, too. When people start taking the law into their own hands, it can set a really dangerous precedent. It weakens the whole idea of a legal system and can lead to chaos.
Yeah, it's like opening a Pandora's box. And in Mike's case, his feelings for Catalina, well, they make everything even more complicated. It's not just about solving a case anymore. It's about protecting someone he cares about.
Right. There's that emotional layer that adds a whole other level of complexity to his decisions. You have to wonder how objective he can really be, especially when his actions could have serious consequences for both of them.
Yeah, and speaking of consequences, the whole betrayal by Kent, his former partner, it throws everything into disarray. It's just a harsh reminder that even the people we trust the most can have hidden motives.
Huh. Betrayal, it's a recurring theme in these types of stories, especially in the world of espionage. It's a constant reminder that information is power, and whoever controls it can use it for good or for bad.
It really makes you question the whole concept of loyalty and trust.
It does. It makes you wonder if it's even possible to navigate a world where deception is so common.
And then to find out that Natalie is actually Kent's daughter, I mean, come on, it adds this whole other layer of complexity to the situation.
It's like this tangled web of relationships, It shows how personal connections can influence even the most high-stakes situations.
It's not just about the case anymore. It's about family ties, hidden loyalties, and secrets that have been buried for years.
It makes you think about how much our past experiences shape our actions in the present.
Okay, but then there's the bombshell that Natalie, or rather Catalina, is the daughter of a Colombian drug lord.
Right, Jose Otalvaro. So now, the story expands even further, showing how organized crime can reach into all corners of the globe.
It's a bit unsettling when you think about it, the idea that there are these powerful forces operating in the shadows.
It definitely makes you question how much control we really have over our own lives.
But even within this larger context of global conspiracies and organized crime, Catalina's personal story is really captivating.
It is. She's trapped between her father's world and her desire for something different.
It's a struggle that a lot of people can relate to, even if it's not on such a dramatic scale.
Absolutely. We all face expectations and pressures that can feel overwhelming at times.
And even though Catalina is involved in her father's business, you can see her vulnerability, especially in her interactions with Mike.
Yeah, she's not just a one-dimensional character. She's complex, and that's what makes her so interesting.
Her relationship with Mike adds this whole other layer of intrigue, too. They come from completely different worlds, but they find solace in each other.
It's a reminder that human connection can happen anywhere, even in the most unexpected circumstances.
The climax of the story brings a sense of closure, but it's not a neat and tidy ending. Jose Polvaro is captured, Kent has to face the music, and Catalina is finally free from her father's control.
But the impact of their actions, it continues to linger.
It's a realistic portrayal of how life works. There aren't always simple solutions.
It makes you reflect on the choices we make and how they can have long-lasting effects.
And in the midst of all this, Catalina's fate is still uncertain. She's free from her father, but what's next for her? What about her relationship with Mike? So we left off with Catalina, and she's facing this uncertain future. She's free from her father, but there's still a lot hanging over her head.
It's really where Lionheart dives into this whole idea of redemption and second chances. Catalina was part of her father's criminal world, but she's also a victim of her circumstances, right? Stuck in a life she didn't choose.
And Mike, he's determined to help her escape that life, even though it's incredibly risky. He manages to get her released, but it comes with strings attached.
Of course. There's always a catch. She gets some freedom, but she's also under Mike's supervision, and she has to testify against her father. It's a chance to start over, but it's not without its challenges.
She's basically trading one kind of confinement for another. But with Mike, she finds something she's never really had before, which is genuine love and support.
Their relationship, it deepens. It goes beyond just the attraction and the danger they shared. They actually start building a life together, even though it's far from simple. They have to figure out how to trust each other, how to forgive, and how to deal with the baggage they both carry.
There's this really powerful scene where they're on a train, the same train where their first encounter turned deadly, but this time it's different.
It's like a symbol of their journey. They've transformed. They're not fighting each other anymore. They're partners in every sense of the word. The train, which was once a place of conflict, becomes a place of connection.
And it's on that train that Mike proposes to Catalina, which is a pretty bold move considering everything they've been through.
It shows how strong their bond is, how much they believe in a future together.
Catalina accepts, and for a moment, it seems like maybe, just maybe, they can outrun the darkness of their past.
But Lionheart, he's not going to let us off that easy. He throws in this incredible twist. He gives us two different endings to their story.
In one ending, their happiness is shattered. Catalina is shot by a sniper, a victim of the violence that's always surrounded them. It's a devastating blow, and Mike is left questioning everything.
It's a reminder that even the strongest love can be fragile, and sometimes the past can come back to haunt you.
It's a really heartbreaking reminder that life can be unpredictable and unfair.
But in the other ending, love wins the SOS. Catalina survives, and she and Mike build a life together, facing whatever comes their way.
It's a testament to the power of hope, the idea that even after going through so much darkness, there's still a possibility for light.
By giving us these two different endings, Lionheart makes us think about the choices we make and how they shape our lives.
He doesn't give us a simple answer or resolution. Instead, he leaves us with questions, which I think makes the story even more powerful.
Enlightened Shadows. It's more than just a spy thriller. It's about justice, redemption, and the enduring power of hope.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Enlightened Shadows. I hope you found this exploration as engaging as we did.
And remember, folks, sometimes the most valuable takeaways aren't the answers, but the questions that stay with us. As you think about this book, consider how it connects with your own life. What choices have you made? What shadows do you carry? And where do you find hope in the midst of uncertainty?
Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep. Until next time.